Good afternoon, Senator Jackson and Representative Treat. My name is Rocky Alley. I'm a lobster fisherman from Jonesport. I'm also the president of the Maine Lobstermen's Union, Local 207. Excuse me. I have two things that I'm not that I'm really concerned about. I'm not an expert on international trade agreements. I spend my days on the ocean, lobster fishing. So a lot of things go by me, and I never hear a thing about them until they're already done, and then we have to deal with them. But as I say, I have a couple of concerns. One is phytosanitary chapter of TPPA, Trans-Pacific Partnership. We don't know the secret language of the agreement, but keeping seafood sanitary is critical to the lobster industry. I have a short article that expresses, hang on a second, I have them right there. I have a short article that expresses concern that the agreement would allow imports that don't meet U.S. food safety standards. We do not want to go with the lowest standard out there. If people start getting sick from seafood, it could jeopardize the whole industry. Some of the countries in this agreement have strict seafood standards, like New Zealand. Others, like Vietnam, not so much. Yet in 2012, over 20,000 pounds of lobster were imported from Vietnam. Countries of origin, in my other big concern, I understand that the beef industry has big issues with labeling its meat as U.S. beef. I believe the dispute is still ongoing. Other countries think it's a technical barrier of trade. We are spending $3.5 million this next 5 years to promote lobster. And 69% of that $3.5 million is coming out of my wallet, along with all the other lobster fishermen, which we didn't want, but we got it jammed down our throats. So, in addition to the 69% increase in our lobster licenses, which my license cost me $900 a year without the increase. Now it's going to cost me about $1,500 a year, and it goes up and up, which is a lot of money coming out of the lobster fisherman's pocket when you're only selling your lobster for $1.95 a pound, which is an incredible price. We need to be able to promote lobster as Maine lobster, or even a U.S. lobster. We are not opposed to fair trade. In the 9 original countries of the TPPA, we imported 15,600,557 and exported 15,516,313 worth of lobster in 2012. We have to be smart on these agreements, have the authority to control regulations, promote our products, and keep them safe for the customers. I believe that's all I have to say, and I thank you for your time.
I was curious, and I just wanted you to tell us the state of the lobster industry now, as far as in your time, how many years you've been fishing, and if you see it in serious decline, what's the impact as far as processing, things like that?
Well, as it stands right now, I've lobster fished for 40 some odd years. I've been a lobster fisherman. The lobster industry has expanded big time. I mean, there's more lobster now, record catches every year, and there's a lot of theory on this, why they've increased, and my feelings personally, I believe it's the water temperature that's the biggest cause of more landings. This year was a little different. The lobsters weren't in the shallow waters like they were last year on a record catch. They were offshore. They didn't come in. And I still think that's to do with the water temperature because, as you know, closer you come to land, warmer the water is. And but I believe this year was another banner year. I know myself, it was a good year. A lot of fishermen down my way did really, really good this year. And I'm glad for them. It's a hard job. It's not easy work, as Senator Jackson will attest to. I took him on my lobster boat. And it wasn't a pretty day.
Did we have to be the Sturman?
Well, he tried for a while. He did a good job. I was impressed for a woodcutter. But no, the lobster industry has really come forward a long ways. The only problem we have is the price of lobster. By not having our own processing plants here in the state of Maine, helping the lobster industry instead of just individual lobster processing plants is a big problem. I think if we had our own processing plants instead of depending on the Canadian processing plants to take care of about 70%, I believe, of our catch all through the state. I think that would be a big help to us, lobster fishermen. And look at the jobs that it would involve, trucking, processing the lobster meat, and what have you. I mean, I still think that's the route that the state of Maine has to go, is support one of the biggest industries in the state of Maine, lobster. I mean, it's been there for years, and hopefully it will always be there. And that's what we need. We need help. We've reached out to Senator Snell before, Senator Collins, Representative Mike Mishu on several different things to help the lobster industry. The whale rope issue is one of our biggest concerns with being lobster fishermen offshore. We have to buy this rope every year, $8,000 to $10,000 every year we have to spend. And we have several fishermen that are missing fingers, thumbs, entanglements all the time. The rope breaks. I fish with 1/2-inch rope, and I fish 20 trap trawls, and I just replaced this rope. And I went to haul it the first time, and when I did, the rope parted and it snapped by the side of my head like this. And if it had hit me, it would have taken my face, probably eyes gone. I mean, that's brand new. And this is what we're forced to use to work with, which has never been an entanglement with a whale in Area 1 ever. And I fish Area 1, which is north of Rockland. Not one entanglement, but yet we're required to use this by the government.
We're ready to try it again.
You done?
Process it.
You all done?
Yeah, that's
We're
not
through. I have one quick question.
Okay, I guess.
I'll set you.
Yeah, okay, that'd be good. You figured that out quick. I think you had a question for Mr. Alley, who ended?
Well, you mentioned the sanitation concerns of, I think it was the Vietnamese shrimp that were being imported. And I'm wondering what suggestions you might have, what thoughts you might have in terms of what interventions this country should be taking to prevent those kind of contaminated seafoods from coming into the country.
Well, yeah, I think they should do more research on the test, because that's only I believe in my paperwork that I have, it was 2% were actually tested by the FDA, and on the shrimp, lobster, any type of seafood that's brought into the country. And it should be a lot more than 2% tested. That was one of our biggest concerns.
I was looking at somebody else's testimony in which they said something about 214 incidents, 84% of seafood consumed by the U.S. was imported, and there were a huge number of cases of this contaminated shrimp, mostly from
Vietnam.
Southeast Asia,
Yes.
and China as well.
That's right.
Is that true?
Thank you. I actually had a question about your labeling point. which is, it really is a huge issue. I mean, there's actually been cases already against labeling laws that we have in the US under trade rules that overturned.
Right.
That labeling. So but my question is just a factual one. All this money that you're putting into lobster promotion.
Yeah.
Do you know whether we're going to be coming up with a special Maine lobster kind of
Brand?
label or brand? Yeah, I'm just curious. And the reason I ask is that I am a cleared advisor. I do have an opportunity to make presentations and to submit testimony on stuff. I'm actually going down next week to participate in another one, and it's very helpful to have very specific examples that I can bring
Right.
to the negotiators to talk about.
My suggestion, get a hold of Commissioner of Marine Resources, Pat Kelleher.
Yep.
He just appointed a new committee for this lobster promotion bill to promote the lobster sales. And he handpicked every person on that
Okay.
individually, and not a one of them are from Eastern Maine.
Okay. Well, that might be
Where
a
I
little
live,
bit outside our.
I'll
that
put
might
it
be
that
a-
way, down east.
It might be a little bit outside of our jurisdiction.
I
To
understand.
get into the lobster promotion.
I know.
But that's a good suggestion, and I will follow up on it. Thank you.
Okay, but he does, he's the one that's
Okay.
doing that.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Alley? Seeing none, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Next.